Good afternoon. Now, top story for tonight, DBS has announced that it plans to cut 4,000 jobs, anticipating AI to take over more human roles. Now, a spokesperson from Randstad Singapore stated that risk management roles involving credit risk assessment and compliance surveillance are likely to be partially automated. Now, this marks yet another sign of how deeply AI is embedding itself into the financial industry. In today's day and age, AI has become increasingly more intertwined with the banking system itself, with many products offered being connected to AI. As a matter of fact, a recent report has indicated that 56% of AI applications in banking are now dedicated to risk-related tasks. Now that brings us to today's topic: does artificial intelligence belong in risk and compliance? Now, to answer this, we'll be covering three key areas. Firstly, will be the benefits of AI in risk and compliance, followed by the human factor in an AI-driven world, and finally, the regulatory challenges and regional perspectives, or the Singapore's perspective to be more precise. Alright, let's dive into our first point, which is the benefits of AI in risk and compliance. Now, when it comes to the benefits of AI, quite a few come to mind. However, in my opinion, one of the most prevalent is efficiency and speed. AI has revolutionized the speed at which financial institutions manage compliance. Traditional processes like Know Your Customer or KYC checks involve lengthy identity verifications, risk assessments, and documentation reviews, often taking up to 18 minutes per client. However, with AI-driven automation, this has been cut down to just 35 seconds. This has resulted in a 90% reduction in turnaround time among banks, which in turn directly resulted in operational costs being cut by over 70% in some cases, contributing to an estimated 138 billion in collective compliance savings across the banking sector. Moreover, AI can continuously monitor thousands of transactions per second, scanning for suspicious patterns and potential risks. This constant vigilance dramatically reduces the chance of missing critical red flags and helps banks avoid costly fines, like the 12 billion in penalties financial institutions worldwide suffered in 2020 due to compliance failures. Now, as a brief summary to this point, this graphic showcases how AI-driven efficiency in compliance processes has resulted in a significant number of benefits. As we've just seen, speed is a vital component in the financial industry. However, it can only be effective if the results are accurate. Fortunately, AI can not only improve the speed of processes, but also their accuracy and precision. AI's ability to process vast amounts of data allows it to spot subtle anomalies and complex patterns that human analysts might just miss. For instance, Standard Chartered reported a 40% reduction in manual compliance breaches after implementing AI, as the system was able to flag risks that might have otherwise just slipped through. Additionally, AI can significantly reduce false positives in transaction monitoring. Now, 2017 survey where AI was not being used, 14,000 participants had to review an insane 16 million alerts. However, only about 5% actually required follow-up by law enforcement, and the rest were simply false positives. Today, AI has reduced false positives by as much as 70%, freeing compliance teams to focus on genuinely suspicious cases rather than chasing ghosts. This significantly reduces operational costs and improves overall risk management. Right, now let's move on to discuss or focus on the human factor in an AI-driven world. As we have just seen, AI can handle vast amounts of data at lightning speeds. This just brings up an intriguing question. Are human risk and compliance officers heading for extinction? Well, the straightforward answer would be not so soon. Despite AI capabilities, the idea that human compliance officers will soon be obsolete is far from reality. While AI excels at data processing, it struggles with complex decision-making, interpreting ambiguous regulations, and handling unprecedented scenarios. For example, Apple's partnership with Goldman Sachs for the Apple Card faced severe backlash and made headlines across the world when the AI-driven algorithm it allegedly offered significantly higher credit limits to men than women, with a tech entrepreneur claiming that he had a credit line 20 times higher than his wife, despite her having a better credit score. On top of this, Apple's co-founder added fuel to the flame, where he claimed that he had a similar experience and lamented at how hard it was to get a human for a correction. Now, in this particular scenario, gender wasn't even an explicit input into the algorithm. The model simply relied on inputs like credit utilization rates, spending patterns, or other correlated factors that reflected a broader societal bias, inadvertently creating discriminatory outcomes. All of this highlighted the risk of over-reliance on AI without human insight. In response to this, many institutions have adopted this human in the loop approach. Here, automated systems handle routine tasks, but human experts still make the final calls in high-stakes situations. This ensures fairness and context are maintained. As Michael Barr, the Vice Chair of the Federal Reserve, has said, we should make sure that we think about Gen AI as enhancing, not replacing. This balance is crucial for maintaining public trust and regulatory compliance. Now, let's move on to the last section for today, which are the regulatory challenges of FIs using AI from Singapore's perspective. Now, one major challenge is the black box problem. Advanced AI models like deep learning often operate in ways even their own creators find hard to explain. As seen here, only inputs and outputs are visible, whereas the logic behind the output is not. This lack of transparency can erode trust if banks cannot clearly explain how decisions were being made using these AI models. To address this, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, or MAS, developed the FEED principles, consisting of fairness, ethics, accountability, and transparency. Most notably, under the transparency principle, firms are required to disclose when AI is being used and provide clear explanations on the data and logic behind the AI-driven decisions. MAS emphasizes that responsible AI should foster great confidence and trust in financial decisions. Now, another critical issue is data privacy. AI systems require vast amounts of sensitive data to function effectively. This is where the 10 times rule comes into play. This is a guideline that suggests for each feature or predictor variable in AI models, at least 10 times as much labeled training examples are needed to achieve reliable results. However, this need for data creates significant security risks. Financial institutions must not only collect this data, but also secure it privately against breaches using strong encryptions, regular audits, and secure storage. For instance, Tokyo Security was fined $82,000 for failing to secure personal data appropriately, highlighting the risk of non-compliance. Furthermore, under the Singapore Personal Data Protection Act, or PDPA, firms must obtain explicit consent for data collection and can only use this data for the purposes initially disclosed. In short, data privacy goes beyond simply controlling access. It's about securing sensitive information throughout the entire lifecycle. This means protecting the data at every stage of the pipeline, from collecting, which is where the data is collected, through storage, where it's encrypted and securely stored, to processing and finally to use, where the data must only be accessed for its intended purpose and nothing else. Now, to wrap up, while AI offers remarkable advantages in speed, accuracy, and cost efficiency, it also brings along significant challenges, from potential job displacements to regulatory hurdles. Now, the path forward lies in finding the right balance, integrating AI where it excels while preserving the critical human elements of judgment, ethics, and oversights. Thank you so much for watching, and if you found this insightful, be sure to like, share, and subscribe.